Okay, let's dive right into this. We're not just talking theory today. We're going to tackle a huge real-world problem. I'm talking about international money transfers, and we're going to show how you can build a real solution for it right on the Stellar blockchain.
And just to get a sense of the scale here, look at this number. $800 billion. That's how much money people, often migrant workers, send across borders to their families every single year. For millions of people, this is an absolute lifeline. But historically, it's been a really, really expensive one.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The old way, using banks or traditional services, can skim 5, even 10% off the top in fees, and it can take days for the money to actually get there. Now look at the Stellar way. We're talking fees that are less than a penny, and the whole thing settles in about 5 seconds. The difference is just, it's night and day.
So we have this incredible 5-second solution, right? But how do we actually get it into people's hands? Well, the answer is by building a decentralized app, or what we call a dApp. So in this section, we're going to walk through the core pieces you need to build a real-world application that makes these global payments a reality for pretty much everyone.
So what does an app like this really need to do? What are the absolute must-have features to make it work for a real user?
All right, here's our game plan. These are the core features. We have to start with the foundation, which is getting live up-to-the-second exchange rates from the network. Once we have that, we can build the instant payment feature. Then, for a little extra security, we'll bolt on an optional escrow system using a smart contract. And finally, you gotta have transparency, so we'll add a clear transaction history. Let's kick it off with those live rates.
You know, everything really hinges on having accurate information. So the app's first job is to plug directly into Stellar's built-in marketplace, the Decentralized Exchange, or DEX. This gives us a 24/7 live feed of what any currency is worth against another. There are no middlemen, no delays, just raw, honest market data. So what the user sees on the screen is super simple, right? But underneath all that, there's some real magic happening. When a user sends money, the app creates what's called a path payment. This is a single atomic transaction, which means it either all happens at once or none of it does. And it automatically finds the best exchange rate on the network to turn, say, your US dollars into Brazilian reals, all in one seamless move.
But hang on, what if you need an extra layer of trust? You know, for larger transfers, or maybe between people who don't know each other that well. That's where Escrow comes in. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital safe. The money goes in, but the safe can only be opened by a trusted third party. We call him an arbiter, once everyone agrees the deal is done.
And the most important thing here is that it puts the user in control. Inside the app, you can literally just flip a switch to turn escrow mode on or off. When it's on, you pick someone you trust to be the arbiter. And from there, the system just tracks the payment status. Is it pending? Has it been released? Or was it refunded? And here's the key. Only that person you designated has the digital keys to release or refund the money. It's a fantastic layer of security.
Okay, so the features are built, the app works, we're done, right? Not so fast. Before any app that handles real money goes live, it has to go through a serious security check. You basically have to think like a hacker and find all the weak spots before they do.
And here is a perfect example of one of those potential weak spots. Think about this. You see an exchange rate you like, you hit that send button, but in the milliseconds it takes for that transaction to get processed, the market moves. What happens then? Could the person on the other end get less money than you both agreed on?
Well, that risk actually has a name. It's called slippage. It's a totally normal part of any fast-moving market, but if your app doesn't account for it, you're going to have some very unhappy users. This is exactly the kind of thing a security audit is designed to find and fix.
And this is great. The audit doesn't just find problems, it points to clear fixes. So for that slippage issue, you don't just cross your fingers. You program the app to set a minimum amount the recipient has to get. If the rate slips below that, the transaction just fails instead of underpaying them. What about a transaction that gets stuck? Simple. Add a 30-second timeout. Typo in the address? You validate the address before you even build the transaction. See, these aren't just suggestions. They're essential protections for your users.
So we've built a powerful app, and we've secured it. But I want to pivot here for a second, because the technical stuff, as cool as it is actually hiding a much more important lesson. It's not just about the lines of code you write. So what is it? What's the most valuable skill you really gain from a project like this? It's not learning the Stellar SDK, and it's not learning a specific programming language. It's something much, much deeper. It's this concept right here, vibe coding.
It's really just a modern way of learning and building. It's about using today's amazing tools like AI assistants by describing what you want in plain English. And then, this is the important part, using the code it gives you as a starting point, not as the final answer.
The process itself is simple, but it is so powerful. First, you just describe your goal. Then you absolutely have to understand the code that gets generated. Read it, question it, don't just blindly copy it. Third, you verify it. Does the logic actually work? Is it secure? And finally, you iterate. You improve on it, you add to it, you make it your own.
And this is the real takeaway. I love this quote. The tools change, the mindset doesn't. Stellar is an amazing tool today, but tomorrow there are going to be new ones. But this mindset of describing, understanding, verifying, and then iterating, that is a skill that will last your entire career. And really, that's the secret sauce. It's that synergy. When you combine a powerful, efficient platform like Stellar with a flexible and effective learning mindset like vibe coding, you're not just equipped to build one app. You're equipped to solve the next big problem, and the one after that.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The technology will evolve, the frameworks will be replaced, the challenges are going to get more complex, the tools will always change. But how will you approach learning the next one?